This is the EVP Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. It is another episode of the EVP Podcast. And we have your host here. I'm Ghosty.
And I'm Beaker.
Welcome back, folks.
Yes, welcome to the back.
Welcome to our back show.
Yep.
Well, guys, how was your week? You had a good week?
Sure.
Was it spooky? Any spooky stuff happen?
Nope.
Me neither. I didn't have any spooky adventures.
I'd see things.
Yeah, but did you go on any adventures?
No, should I?
No. Yes,
I
you
want
should,
to.
actually.
I mean, not since the potluck.
Yes. And did anything happen? Did you get any good evidence this time?
I mean, I crossed over a spirit, maybe. Our friend Nicole sent me an EVP, and I listened to it, and it sounded like it said something. Actually, I had Brandy listen to it yesterday too, and she told me what it said. I was very close in what I thought it said.
Oh, yeah.
But here, she actually got it. They were going to do the SS method, and she had 2 different audio recorders going. And she got it on both of them.
Very cool.
So I'm just going to play the clip as she sent it to me. So here we go.
Got it already.
Yeah,
There we go.
no, I've just done it at the Ritz.
Okay, so that's how she sent it to me. So at the first is like the original audio, and then at the end there, she just had it on repeat with the audio enhanced a little bit. So I know what I thought I said originally. Would you like me to play this? So that's the first recorder.
Well, the first thing that I want to...
So hold on. So that's from the first audio recorder.
Okay.
So this is from the second audio recorder, okay?
Oh no, we got it already.
Yeah,
There we go.
no, I've just done it at the Ritz.
There we go. 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 There we go.
Sorry
what's
for
that
those of
other
you.
voice?
Sorry for those of you with earballs, listening with headphones,
Airballs.
earballs. I just blew out your earballs.
Sorry for kicking you right in your ear balls.
So that's from 2 different recorders, and it got the same EVP on both recorders. So I know what I thought it said originally, and I played it, and
And it's just that male voice at the very, very end?
it's not a male's voice.
It's not a male... Okay, but it's...
Here, let me play it one more time.
Okay.
This is the first recorder.
Got it already.
Yeah,
There we go.
no, I've just done it at the Ritz.
So that's you hear what it was on repeat, just saying the same thing over and over again. That's just her just clipping it together. So what do you think?
Well, immediately when I hear that S box, when you turn it on, it says S box on. And so that's what I was expecting to hear. And then it played that song. That's all I can think of is on. But what is it saying?
What do you don't?
No, I can't make it out. It's
Okay, so what I
it's like
originally-
a one syllable.
So what I originally heard was go ahead.
Go
Because
ahead.
they're talking about doing the Estes method. And I thought they said go ahead. I played it for Brandy last night. Button found it. And she said, and this makes sense going back and listening to it, I can hear it. It says go away. And it's not like she's wanting the investigators to go away. She said it was kind of hurried, like there was something coming, and she was just trying to warn them.
Okay, and
It's kind of what I got.
And it's kind of said really fast then. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Well, it's rushed. Like someone's coming, so she's like trying to warn them, like, go away.
Oh, okay. Play it one more time.
Okay, one more time.
Oh no, we got it already.
Yeah,
There we go.
no, I've just done it at the Ritz.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
So that's what she thinks. That's what I thought it said go ahead, because that's what it sounded like to me, but I was told it says go away. And the reason why it's so rushed or it's so quick is because...
Wait a minute. That loud voice at the end isn't them. That's the EVP?
Yeah.
I thought that was Nicole.
No.
That sounds like Nicole.
No, listen. Let me start this over. Because she'll say something like, "We're ready to go," and then you'll hear the voice.
Oh no, we got it all ready. Oh,
Yeah, I
there we go.
no, just at the Ritz.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
That there we go.
There we go.
The "Here we go" is Nicole, and
Yeah.
then you hear the "Go away"
Okay.
right after.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm
'Cause you
barely
hear-
hearing it.
you hear-
barely hearing it.
So you hear the "Here we go," and then you hear Dave say like "No," and then you hear another voice, a third voice.
Okay. And that is what I'm like. I can barely hear it.
I'll turn your earballs up.
Yeah, I have to.
Anyways, she sent me another one, but I don't know what it says or if it says anything, so I'm not going to play that one. But there's
Okay.
an EVP for the EVP show.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, this week we are going to the Nevada State Prison. We're just doing a lot of Nevada stuff now.
Yeah, apparently we're following in the footsteps of our best friend, Zach Bagans, and his crew, because they don't seem to leave anywhere on the West Coast. And neither do we. So
I wonder if people don't like him on the East Coast, maybe.
I don't know. I think ever since COVID, he's been kind of...
True. He hasn't traveled much
Not really.
further.
Have you noticed that? I saw some people on Reddit pointed out. He's just sticking towards Nevada where he lives.
Well, like Utah, too. He's been all over
Utah,
Utah.
Nevada. I think he's been in California.
Yeah, all over
I think he's just been kind of sticking close to home.
Yeah, the Oregon coast, I think, recently was one.
So that just tells you that only the East Coast of the United States is... the West Coast, sorry. The West Coast of the United States is the only places that are now haunted in the world.
No, that's where all the money's at, man.
Probably.
It's in prisons. But actually, this place we haven't investigated yet. Maybe this is what we need to go to.
No,
in
this is
August.
another one that Paul, our friend Paul, keeps telling us to investigate.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds pretty damn scary, though. It sounds like people going there get a lot of activity.
I got 3 weeks off coming up. I can totally go to Tonopah and possibly Elko and Carson City, all in Nevada.
Death Valley in August. That sounds...
No. I'm good there. You can't really get into that place.
No, you can't even... No. And can't even drive up.
No, you have to be escorted by a state ranger.
I was just there. I just drove through Death Valley. It was 115 degrees. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with Death Valley.
Yeah, so let's go to Nevada instead.
Yeah, let's do that. Where it's only 105.
Yeah, I like it.
So the Nevada State Prison. This place was it's in Carson City. And back then, before it was actually settled and all that, this place was called Eagle Valley. So this one dude, his name's Abraham Curry. He was one of the first and one of the most important settlers. He arrived there in 1858, actually from Utah.
Nice.
A home guy from the home state over here. So he purchased the Eagle Ranch for $500 and several Mustang horses. And then on this property, he built the Warm Springs Hotel. And that place has its own sandstone quarry. Like he built it where he could just use the sandstone right there. And then, yeah, he was pretty smart about it. So in December of 1861, the first territorial legislature met at the hotel, and they created the Board of Prison Commissioners. And then this board was authorized to lease the property adjacent to his hotel, effective January 1st of 1862. And then this is the date for the establishment of what was to become the Nevada State Prison. And by the end of the meeting, they had elected to convert the very hotel they were staying at into a prison. And the funny thing was that there's rumors that the way they came about this decision was because that they got so drunk that they trashed the property, and then they offered him as a reconciliation to make him the warden of a prison. They'll just turn that into a prison since they just trashed the place.
Hey, we beat the shit out of your place. Let's
your
make this a
hotel's
prison.
shit.
Yeah, we ruined your hotel. We're going to turn it into the prison, and you can be the warden.
So
That sounds like a lose situation for Mr. Curry.
Well, I mean, what if they just they just partied too hard? Like he had nothing to do with the whole meeting or anything. He just had the meeting there, and then they trashed the place, and they're like, bro, so sorry, but we all came to agree that like we'll just turn this place to a prison because now it's pretty trashed, and then
But I think he
you're
was
in
on
charge.
I think he was on the board, so he had to have been involved in the decision.
That's what they say, but he probably could not have been, and then because I mean, why would they feel so bad if he helped trash his own place?
I don't know.
They probably wouldn't. So that he probably wasn't a part of it.
Just because he's on the board doesn't mean he trashed his place.
True. But I mean, if he was part of it, they'd all be getting shitty. They'd all be getting shitty.
That
together.
is a lot of speculation.
Yeah, I'm speculating the shit out of that.
Yes,
and
you sure are.
I bet you he wasn't even part of this board, and that they trashed his place, and they were like, "Bro, come on, and we'll turn this into prison. You're in charge. Sorry about the mess, but you'll get a lot more money this way. Trust us."
This is no way based in facts. We don't know.
No.
Ghosty's making shit up.
I'm making all this up, but that sounds pretty plausible.
I mean, they did turn his hotel into a prison and put him as the warden,
So I'm just putting this together and throwing it out there, seeing what sticks. I love doing that.
Definitely not the pasta.
Then on May 1st of 1867, they had a fire at the prison, and they ended up losing all the buildings that they built and all the prison records. And the buildings were rock and mortar structures covered with dry wooden shingles, and it assumed that the inmates set the fire to their shed-like housing in 1870. And then in 1870, another fire occurred, and a major portion of this institution was again destroyed. This incident resulted in a construction project using quarried stone on site and inmate labor to build substantial structures.
Sounds familiar?
Prison labor.
Any of our prisons that we've talked about around the world, hey, guys, build your own prison.
Like, hey, we got all these guys here that are just like sitting around doing with all the time in the world. Let's put them to work.
Yep.
And then on September 17th, 1871, the most dramatic event in the history of the prison in the 19th century occurred. The captain of the guard was attacked while locking the inmates into their cells on this late Sunday afternoon. 29 inmates participated in this escape, acquiring guns from the armory, shooting Lieutenant Governor Frank Denver and several guards, killing 2 people. Most were recaptured, 2 were hung by a posse, and the ringleader was never found. Convict Lake in Mono County, California is where the escapees made their last stand. That's pretty wild as shit.
Yeah.
29 escapees. That's pretty nuts.
And they didn't get caught?
No.
They're better than Scotland.
Most of them got caught. Just the one got away.
Oh, that's exactly how it happened in Scotland. Remember the prison break at the Edinburgh Castle?
Oh.
Where like 30 people got away and they caught all but one.
Yep.
And they think he might have died.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just time redoing itself.
Around the same time. No, actually, that
was
was way early. That was like the 1600s.
Yeah.
We all know that the world was started in 1742.
16.
16, no, 17.
92.
1742.
22.
1742.
23.
1745.
45.
Do you not know American history? When the Declaration of Independence was signed? It was actually 1776. But
July 4th.
Yeah, 1776. That's when the world started.
Yeah, 1622.
Nothing happened before then.
That's when America became born.
And the world, too.
The world started.
The rest of the world.
The world started on
Nothing
that
was around
day.
before then.
That's why 200 years later, the following year, 1872, legislation resulted in the repeat of the portion of the Constitution which established the prisons as the responsibility of the lieutenant governor.
How about the repeal?
The repeal?
Yep.
I don't know. What is
Not
it?
the repeat, the repeal.
What is it?
That means they took it away.
Uh-huh.
Not the repeat where they do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't repeat it. They repealed it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yep.
The Lieutenant Governor Denver refused to hand over the institution and refused to allow the governor or any other members of the prison board to enter the prison. Finally, the governor called out the militia in March 1873. Confronted by 60 soldiers and a small artillery piece, Denver surrendered the institution.
Like, how crazy do you have to be? It was like,
So like this, your whole life is involved in the prison. Like, I'm not giving up my position. Fuck you all. You got to get a cannon to get me out of here. And then they rolled up a cannon.
Okay, you have one. All right, I guess.
Oh, really?
Right.
Like, you guys are really going that crazy? Are you guys that overboard?
But it's like, what is your train of thought? Like, you want to stay as the warden of a prison like, so bad that the military has to come and remove you.
I don't get it. Like, maybe that was all he knew, and that's his whole life, and like he was so proud of himself for that.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, but that's pretty sad.
He was the only one that was removed from being the warden. Everyone else either resigned or
Quit, got
served their
killed.
term or whatever. Died of old age was one of them.
But yeah, like this guy was just like, it was like his whole life was ending. It's nuts. 1923, Leonard Fristow and 2 other inmates accompanied Warden Tom Slater in the warden's car on a trip to Reno. Left unattended by the warden, Fristow walked away and was not heard from again until 1968. He was arrested in California after a domestic disturbance and returned to Nevada State Prison. His escape lasted for 45 years. This was the longest escape and recapture in U.S. history until 2015. In May 1970, Fristow received a pardon and was released based upon the split vote of the pardons board. So there's like, you've been free long enough and you paid taxes. Like,
I mean, if he was free for 45 years and didn't commit any other crimes, I think he's not a danger to society.
I know, like, let's first forget that you just escaped.
I mean, they did it in Fast and the Furious.
That's kind of funny that they're like, okay, you got us real good. Okay, but you're off this time. Like, you got us good.
Well, I mean, like the pardons board had to take a vote on it, right? So
yeah,
it was
but it's just
obviously
funny
like,
that that's even a thing. Like,
well, I mean, think about it though. I mean, 45 years it took to get caught. Like, obviously he wasn't committing crimes or anything. He probably started a family or something. I
yeah,
don't know, but
I'm pretty sure I
but
would
it's
have.
like, look at it, it's like 45 years. He didn't do any harm to anybody else. Like, he was a functioning member of society. It's like, okay, well, he's obviously reformed.
Like, how cool would that be to be like, guess what? I escaped prison, and then like 45 years later, they high-fived me for it.
I'm not exactly sure that's how it went down, but like I said, I'm sure there was members of the board that were like, or that, the board that were probably like, no, because it does say it was a split vote. So not everybody was like, hey, good job,
Well,
buckaroo.
the half of them were in there giving him high five. Like, dude, you kicked ass.
When was the high five invented? Was it around in the 70s? Probably. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, they were high fiving.
They were high fiving people in the face.
That has been a thing for years, decades, millennia. So being this is in Nevada, you know what else they did in Nevada?
Probably legalized prostitution. I mean, gambling.
Both. So, with the legalization of gaming in Nevada, the prison apparently saw no reason not to allow inmates to participate in organized and sanctioned gaming. Wardens provided space for gambling games and establishment of inmate game owners. So they had like pit bosses and shit.
Like, so the inmates were the blackjack dealers or running the roulette wheel or running the poker matches or whatever. The inmates were in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that like I didn't hear or read anything about like there being violent deaths during the gambling. I guess everyone's just
I
happy.
guarantee there were violent deaths.
But it's just like, oh, I mean, you look at the Wild West. We talked about it last week at the Birdcage Theater with people, they get caught cheating while playing poker and they were shot. So I'm wondering if like security was just so tight, like that no one dared to try anything if someone got caught cheating, other than maybe like hit them with a sock full of pennies. Because they
took care of it in the showers.
Probably.
But like this would put other inmates in debt with other inmates. So you're gonna get some deaths out of this for sure. And so,
well, the thing is, I think the money was provided by the prison itself, because you had
I don't know if they were even paying for money.
No, they had a fake currency.
Oh.
The prison provided them with a currency. They
like
had
chips.
They had like little
chips.
like it was not real money, but they had like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, $1 bills, and $5 bills. And like they're still, I saw pictures of them. They're just like look like little wooden things. I think they're metal, but they're just little fake currency that they actually used for the gambling.
Oh, and I bet they held on to that with their lives. Like,
oh, I'm sure they did.
Like this is going to get me through the next 2 months. I gotta be.
And there's also a possibility people were killed over it. It's like someone, hey, this guy won big in poker.
I guarantee people did.
Him.
I
guarantee. But the funny thing is like I didn't read or hear anything about any arguments in the gambling. This shit went on for 30 years.
Right? And so, yeah, this was astounding to the modern correctional practitioners today because it legitimized. God, why can't I talk?
Legitimized?
Because it's my turn. That's what, an underground inmate economy with the attendant negative opportunities for indebtedness between inmates, coercion, and inmate control of other inmates. They ended up hiring Corps of Professional Administrators in 1967, which resulted in the closure of the casino. They called it the casino and everything.
Yeah, they built like a whole room just for this gaming.
That is so nuts that it went on for that long.
Yeah, like 30
so,
years.
yeah, from like 1940 something, like the early 40s to
Well,
67.
I think gaming became legal in like the 30s.
Was it the 30s?
Yeah.
Okay, right after, soon after the Depression and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I
that,
think it was like 1933. I want to say. So this went on for like 30 years.
Damn, that's crazy. And then in 1901, going back a little bit, state legislature required that all executions be conducted by hanging at the state prison in Carson City beginning in 1903. And then the first inmate executed at the state prison was John Hancock. Do you think that was his real name?
So, no.
And that was
'Cause,
September
like-
8th, 1905.
So when they were saying John Hancock on Ghost Adventures, or was it Portal? Did they mention it on Ghost Adventures?
Yeah, they did.
So when they're talking about John Hancock, the first thing I thought of was like, isn't that the dude that signed the Declaration?
Declaration, yeah.
I'm like, that's where this thing, put your John Hancock, comes from, because he was like the first
It's
guy
the
to sign it.
well, it's the biggest signature on
yeah,
there. It's like right in the middle,
Yeah,
biggest.
John Hancock. Right. That seemed a little fishy to me. Do you know who else it seemed fishy to?
What?
Chip Coffee. Not to who, not what. When I said, do you know who else it seems fishy to? Chip Coffee. So Portals to Fear. Or Portals to Hell.
Portal? Oh,
Whatever
no.
But the Gateway to Hell, the Jack Osborne's
Yeah, but no, that's
Destination
not
of
his
Fear.
show. That's not this one. This is a new show. It's something else with his sister.
What,
Jack
No,
Osborne's-
she was a guest investigator, so
Yeah,
she's
it's
not
Jack
a full
Osborne's
investigator. Because like the next episode,
Night of
he had-
Terror or something.
yeah, something like that. The next episode, he had like Jamie Kennedy and the dude from Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
But so they were investigating it, and they're like, John Hancock. Kelly Osbourne's like, I don't feel like that's his real name. And they came up with, and I like seeing this because I've actually done that on investigations. We did the Washoe Club, where everyone was saying, or actually they just called her the Lady in Blue. No, they did have a name for her.
Yeah.
They did have a name for her, but when I was actually talking to the
Lena
spirit,
or something.
Yeah. So they were calling her Lena, and I got to talking to the spirit, and she's like, I don't know why everyone's calling me Lena. My name's Ellie, like short for Eloise. So I've personally witnessed that on an investigation where everyone's so sure it's like this one name, but everyone's calling him John Hancock, and Chip Coffee and Kelly Osborne come in, and they're like, Chip's like, no, I think his name, or he was testing Kelly, but he's like, is it Billy or Bobby? And she's like, it's Billy, and he's like, yep, that's right. And I'm like, well, that's
Oh,
convenient.
I remember that part now. Yeah.
I'm like, that's convenient because you threw out two names.
threw
She
out
could just be like
50-50.
50-50. She guesses one. He's like, yep, that's it. But they felt like John Hancock's real name was actually Billy.
Okay.
Long story short.
Yeah. Because normally it would be like a John Doe. If they didn't know his real name, it would be like a John
that's
Doe.
what they thought.
Yeah.
They thought maybe they just called him John Hancock because they didn't know his real name.
Okay.
So that's one of the theories.
Or they probably had him sign his name and he just signed it like that just to be a
Probably.
dick. Yeah.
So
okay.
I kind of agree with him on that point. I don't think his name was actually John Hancock.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to go investigate and find out.
We do need to go there. I think August is a good time.
Okay.
All right. The largest multiple execution in the history of Nevada occurred on November 17th of 1905 when four men, Thomas F. Gorman, Al Linderman, Fred Wright, and John Sevener, were executed using double gallows for the murder of a transient that they threw off a moving train while they pilfered the boxcars. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Two Native Americans, Indian Johnny Shoshone and Joe Goshoot, were executed using double gallows on December 7, 1906 for the murder of a transient. They were just killing transients left and right over there. That's crazy. They just threw them off. They're rummaging through boxcars, found a transient, and then just threw them off.
Yeah, because they don't want to split this up with them.
Well, I mean, they could have just left them like, hey, get on the next car. We're rifling through things. You're in our car.
Right. And then that person's like, maybe I want some of this. And they're like, no. And they throw them off.
Could be.
Or maybe they got on the transient,
He
woke
wanted
up.
in on their goods.
Maybe the transient woke up and was like, hey, this is my boxcar. And they're like, oh, yeah?
There was a scuffle.
Yep.
A scuffle and a toss.
I like to speculate, too.
Hell yeah. The Nevada state legislature passed a law in 1910 allowing condemned inmates to choose between execution by shooting or hanging. Andriza Merkovich was the first and only inmate in Nevada to be executed by shooting.
So did you hear what happened with this guy?
No.
So they couldn't find 5 men that were willing to be on the firing squad.
No, that would be traumatic as shit.
Right. So what they did is they built like a fucking machine gun and used that. They brought in like a machine gun
Was it like an automatic machine gun? That,
I'm not sure. They brought in like some but probably an automatic machine gun.
where you can just hit a switch and it just goes off, and
I think
nobody
so.
has to.
Yeah, because they couldn't find 5 men willing to participate in the firing squad, so they made this machine gun and brought it in and used that to shoot them.
So, like, they were doing a firing squad here in Utah for a very long time. And I think there was like a line of people that are just wanting to be on this firing squad.
Yeah, I remember that. Utah's like,
they're like, there's a sign up sheet.
Yeah, Utah's like, yeah, let's do it.
32 men were executed in Nevada's 3 gas chambers between 1924 and 1979.
A shooting machine.
A shooting machine?
When the device arrived at the prison, Cowing no longer wanted to have any part of the execution and resigned. So that was the warden at the time.
They're like, remember that cannon? Well, we converted it into an automatic machine.
A shooting machine. And they're just
automatic
like,
shooting machine.
That's just freaking crazy. Like, no one wanted to be on the firing squad. All right, well, we'll just make...
We'll make a shooting machine.
We got it.
We can repurpose this old cannon that got wheeled in here to shoot that dumbass out.
What else do we got?
32 men who were executed in Nevada's 3 gas chambers between 1924 and 1979. And in 1983, the state legislature changed the method of execution to lethal injection. And on December 6, 1985, serial killer Carol Cole became the first inmate to be executed in Nevada by lethal injection.
Okay, so I did talk to you about Carol Cole a little bit while we were having breakfast, but I don't see in your notes here anything about G. Gone.
No, there was nothing about G. Gone.
So G. Gone was the first person to be executed in the U.S., if not the world, by gas chamber.
Oh, so he was one of in the gas chambers out of all those people.
He was the first.
The first.
Like, he was the first ever in the U.S., possibly the first ever in the world.
Okay, so out of the 32, he was number 1, not only in Nevada, but in the U.S.
Yeah, in the U.S. So, he was a condemned murderer, like I said, G. Gone. He was of the Hip Sing Tong Criminal Society. Like I said, he was the first person executed by the gas chamber. So this whole story is freaking crazy. It says Warden Dickerson sent his assistant Tom Pickett from Carson City to Los Angeles, California, to personally pick up 20 pounds of lethal gas, which was contained in a mobile fumigating unit at the cost of $700. The 4 guards did not want to participate in the process and resigned. Prison officials first attempted to pump poison gas directly into G's cell while he was sleeping.
Oh my God, what the hell?
But without success because the gas leaked out of the cell.
And they're all dying. The guards are dying.
No one died. No one died. Yet. So they made a makeshift gas chamber in the butcher shop.
What the fuck?
So he was strapped to a chair in the chamber that was 11 feet long, 10 feet wide, and about 8 feet high. A small window next to a wooden chair allowed witnesses to look inside. Attendees included news reporters, public health officials, and representatives of the U.S. Army. On the morning of February 8th, 1924, the pump sprayed 4 pounds of hydrocyanide acid, basically. Cyanide. Into
mustard gas.
Yep. Into the chamber. Now, because of an electric heater failed, the chamber was 52 degrees Fahrenheit instead of the normal 75 is where you want it.
Oh, so it wasn't even activated.
So it caused some of the acid to form a puddle on the floor. G's head appeared to nod up and down for about 6 minutes before he succumbed to the gas. The prison staff waited 3 hours for the remaining puddle of acid to evaporate before cleaning up the chamber. So basically...
He slowly died.
He slowly died. So the interview I was listening to from a lady that currently... is part of the Preservation Society of the prison, and she runs the paranormal team there. She was saying it took him like 17 minutes to die. And because of how long this took, the warden is like, I'm never going to make another man suffer like this again. So they built an actual gas chamber.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Which was used all the way up until, 1979? And I think that was the last time the gas chamber was used. And the funny thing is now is, it's not the funny thing. The thing is not. It's if you were to get into the gas chamber now, the bed that they use to strap people down in is the bed. The bed that's in there now is the one that was actually used. Like, they didn't take the bed out or anything because technically, the prison was shut down in 2012.
2012.
And it was still the site of executions all the way up until 2016.
2016, yeah. Because, there's nobody there anymore, so they were just like, Let's just keep killing people there.
So when Ghost Adventures went there, they actually weren't allowed in the execution chamber because it was still in use.
Because they went in 2015?
I think so.
Yeah.
And when Jack Osborne went, they actually got to have Kelly sit in the gas chamber because this was like last year. So they open the door for him. He's like, I've only opened this door 4 times in my life. So it was kind of trippy to see that they actually had her in there. And we'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. But yeah, it was just like this dude, the first guy ever to be killed by gas. It took, they failed at first, and then it took like almost a half an hour to kill him.
Damn. So in all, there were 54 men that ended up executed there. 11 hung, 32 gas, 11 through lethal injection. The last one being executed in 2006, but the actual number of deaths could be a lot more since there were deaths going on by inmates killing other inmates. The hauntings that they're talked about are saying that there have been reports of full body apparitions, disembodied footsteps, voices, screams, and shouts. There have also been reports of many shadow people throughout the buildings. People have reported being touched and even pushed at various locations inside the prison. Many of the more forceful touches occurring near the execution area. And there was actually some good EVPs caught by Ghost Adventures when they went.
Yeah, well, I think the ones that were really good were the ones they got at the former CEO's house.
Yes, the ones they got there were really clear, actually. So when they were there and they were asking them what they were asking the spirits, what did they want him to do?
Bend over,
and that was clear because I wasn't even looking at the TV screen. I was like waiting to hear it, so I don't get persuaded by their captions.
They put the captions up, yeah.
So I'm like looking away from the TV, doing my own thing, and I hear that, and I could hear that. I was like, that said bend over, and I was chuckling at that shit because it was coming from, a spirit that probably followed him home from a prison.
Well, and then when they played it for him, he said that makes sense, and they're like, well, how? And he's like, that's something we would tell the prisoners when we did like a full cavity search or full body search. We'd tell them to bend over and spread their cheeks and cough.
Yeah. So anything that they're trying to hide in their meat pockets fall out.
Yep. So when this prison originally opened, it was a co-ed prison. So
I'm sure they had sections.
They did. They had it sectioned off. So like I think they shared like common areas, but women were only allowed in at one time, men at the other time. So they were never together. They had sectioned off, like the actual cells were sectioned off.
Except on casino night when the girls are walking around with cocktails.
Sure, because they allowed alcohol in there.
Why not? They gotta have a casino. Shit.
So some of the stuff that they talked about on, I want to say it was Jack Osborne's, there was like this black mass that everyone kept saying, and they were calling it the Blob.
Okay, I don't remember too much about that part.
They were, so one of the theories was like, oh, it's been around so long that it forgot it was human, so it turned into this blob. And I'm like, that's not something I've ever heard before.
Me neither.
Both shows use the SLS camera, and for those that listen to this podcast know how we feel about it. The Ghost Adventures went as far as saying like Zach's skeleton or something jumped out of him. Or, yeah, Zach's, because it showed, it mapped him out, and then it showed it like jumping out, and it's like, oh, something jumped out of him. Like,
so
okay,
I'm more interested in those SLS because I'm not a fan of the Kinect SLS, the Xbox type SLS, because it tries to map anything. It'll look at these tripods and turn those into
same with the cheap free app you can get on your phone.
Right,
It'll do the same
any
thing.
of those. But the ones that they have are made by Bill Chappell.
From Digital Dowsing.
Yeah, and the way I've noticed on theirs is it's looking at something like, say it's looking at just a box of a room, an empty room, where it can't configure things to turn it into a figure. And I've noticed like all of a sudden figures will start appearing in things. So I'm more interested in the ones that they have and the technology that it's using, because I wouldn't quite throw it out completely if it's using some type of, I wanted to look more into the technology it's using, because it doesn't look like it's trying to turn things into figures.
I mean, yes and no. What I was watching this morning, it looked like it was trying to turn the jail cell, like the door.
Right, but that was also almost 10 years ago.
Oh, that's true.
So I would be interested more in the technology that they're using now to see how it's mapping things. Like what it's using.
You're
to
right.
map.
I don't recall it doing that when Jack Osborne was using it. It didn't look like it was trying to do that. So maybe we should get our hands on one. Send us one. Someone buy us one.
Yeah, somebody buy us one. And
Dr. Ghost Hunters, I'm looking at you.
Fallen told.
Buy us stuff. No, that's interesting. I would love to try out a new one.
So I'm not throwing it out completely.
I'm throwing out. Let me put it this way: we're throwing out the app.
Yeah, throwing out the app, throwing out the Connect
garbage.
Cam.
Yeah,
anything
garbage.
Get
the expensive one.
Yeah, put thousands of dollars down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Twice.
Multiple times. But the mass.
Yeah. So they kept seeing this like black mass, and it's not just like Jack and Kelly that were seeing it. It was like people that have investigated, so they've seen this thing.
So it's like a shadowy thing that kind of like takes out light where they're looking down. Okay,
but it's not like human shaped. It's just a big black mass. So they call it the blob. And what I thought was interesting is they had Kelly in the gas chamber itself doing the Estes method, and Jack was outside in like the viewing room, and he was asking questions, and stuff starts coming through. Kelly's repeating what she's hearing in the spirit box, and he goes, "Are you the blob?" And it was almost instantly Kelly says, "I'm not the blob." And then, so you mentioned Carrie Cole, the serial killer. So listening to this interview with Susan Bernard, who is the
docent, or
she's the one that runs the paranormal team.
Okay.
And she's part of the preservation committee or the historical committee. So this prison was actually registered as a historical landmark there in Nevada. Mm-hmm. So
it's been there 150 years.
They're working on trying to make it a museum, and they want to, any money that they raise on their committees and stuff like that, they try to put back into the prison to preserve it.
Yeah, that's what they do at like Waverly Hills too.
Yeah. So she was talking on this interview I was listening to about Mr. Cole. So Carrie Cole.
Okay.
She was calling him Mr. Cole. Now
I thought you said something like mystical, but you said it weird.
Mr. Mr. Cole.
Mr. Cole.
Mr. Cole. I like her approach on things because she said not everything is demonic or demons or devils.
Thank you.
She likes to go in, and she likes to go in with a positive attitude. She's wanting to communicate with positive people. Right. And I've done this on investigations before with Castle on the old team. We investigated Family Tree, I don't know how many times. And, most of the time it was going in and you'd have some people that would try to like antagonize the spirits. And I said, you know what, for tonight, let's try something different. Let's focus on the positive spirits. Let's not focus on Lucy. Let's not focus on JJ. Let's not talk to any of those spirits. Let's just ignore them. And the energy in the building was completely different. So I do believe that your intention that you take in with you on an investigation is going to change how your investigation goes. If you're focusing on those negative things, you will find them. If you focus on the positive, you will find those as well. And she said that that's kind of how she takes things. Is she doesn't sit there and think everything is a demon or a devil like they do on some of the shows.
Yeah.
So
I hate that where they jump to that right off the bat.
Right. So the thing with Carrie Cole, when he was younger, his mom kind of like, I don't know if she physically abused him, but I know she emotionally abused him. She said she would tell him that like, because his name was Carrie, he could be a boy or a girl, and she'd dress him up in dresses and stuff like that. And she kind of messed with him quite a bit, because you got to think this is back in when was it, like the 40s?
Yeah.
Where that type of behavior wasn't normal like it is today.
Right.
And he grew up, he ended up, deciding he liked women, and he would like get with women, and then he would murder women. So he was convicted of 15 murders?
Yeah, you were telling me there was about 15.
So that's what he was convicted of. He admitted to his lawyer that there was way more than that they never found or knew about.
Yeah, so only 15 that he got in trouble for. So
the thing is this is where the respect part, or the coming in with the positive thing is this Susan, I think it was her name. She was saying that she's had people come in and they want to antagonize him, and they're met with the same kind of energy, more or less, where they come in and they want to antagonize. I guess she's investigated this place many times over the last 10 years, 11 years, and she's come to calling him Mr. Cole, instead of Carrie. She's found through her investigations that he doesn't like to be called Carrie. And
Wasn't it Carol? His name's Carol.
Oh, Carol. Yeah, sorry.
Carol Cole.
Carol Cole. My bad. I'm saying it wrong, but because his
Harry Carey here.
Harry Carey. Hi. So because of the emotional and physical abuse that he received when he was a child, it's what led him to becoming a serial killer, just like any serial killer ever. It seems like he hates Carol. He doesn't like to be called Carol. I think she mentioned the name he does like to go by, but they just call him Mr. Cole. And they've noticed if you show him respect, he kind of leaves you alone. He mainly targets women because that's what he did when he was alive. Serial killer of women. Mm-hmm. And she said she's noticed with the investigators that show him respect, he will talk to them and have a conversation with them and leave them alone for the most part. But the ones that come in and antagonize him, calling him Carol or trying to call him out and stuff, there's been reports of people getting like fingers shoved down their throats being grabbed and squoze, like he's trying to strangle them.
Oh shit!
So it's kind of just how you go in and talk to them.
Yeah, because if they're going in there and antagonizing and like yelling at them, like how would you like to be attacked by somebody that you don't even know? They're just attacking you and like calling you things and like. Motherfucker, do you know who I am? Finger down the throat.
And because of the type of person he is, yeah, he'll attack back.
That's not a finger. That's not a finger.
He's got a really big thumb. Yeah.
Nails missing.
So she's noticed that yeah, it's the way if you treat him with respect, he will treat you with respect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm assuming there's like there's like 53 confirmed executions there, plus any murders.
So they talked about like different deaths that would occur where in the showers.
Yes.
So in the showers, the steam, everyone's showering at the same time and you can't see anything.
You have like hundreds of guys in there showering at the same time.
Yeah. And you can imagine that's the best time where you bring in a shank through your meat pocket, get in the shower, and then you get work done.
Well, there's one former convict I talked to on Ghost Adventures that said they found a guy hanging in the shower once. And
oh, yeah.
Someone's like, oh, did he hang himself? And he's like, nope, that dude was murdered.
Yeah.
So, and then Susan, on her interview, she would talk about how people report hearing children. And people have seen an old woman in a rocking chair. You got to realize, like, this was originally the hotel, like we talked about, which could be an explanation for people seeing and hearing these two spirits. Because they do talk about in one of the shows that like demonic entities pretend to be children, and we've seen it at Family Tree. Inhuman entities pretending to be children. But she also did point out, like, yeah, this used to be a hotel, so it could have been spirits that were traveling here, and spirit. We've talked about it before, where spirits go, they tend to gravitate to places that they liked when they were alive. So if this kid really liked this hotel,
he liked prison.
Yeah, he really liked prison. He really liked this hotel when it was around. He could be like the son of one of the guy that Abraham Curry. Mm-hmm. Maybe he had a son that died. I don't know.
Well, like you think about this as well. These are killers that were here, and they could have killed kids, and those kids could have attached themselves to these killers.
There was also the old lady in a rocking chair.
Oh yeah.
So that was Susan's explanation. Is it was a hotel for a couple of years, so it could have been people that stayed at the hotel at one point in time. Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that commit suicides at hotels. An ungodly amount of people that commit suicide.
Did you hear about all the artifacts and fossils and stuff they found in the quarry?
Yes, in the quarry while they were cutting things up. Yeah, they found an insane amount of footprints. Yeah, little footprints. That was amazing.
I think they found out that those belonged to a sloth. But they
found really
the
three-toed sloth.
They found like prehistoric like artifacts and stuff. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, because it's a huge sandstone quarry, and they're just taking chunks to build the whole city pretty much. But yeah, I mean, there could have been kid spirits that have been attached to some of the inmates there too, because who knows what kind of crazy stuff they've done.
Yes. But yeah.
Fossils.
They found fossils.
Fossils, man.
Yeah.
Any other spirits? I tried asking our buddy Paul, because he's investigated there before, but he said that he didn't have any evidence that he was able to take, but he would hear, they did get like knocks in the gas chamber. They would see hands sticking out of the cells from a distance. So just looking down where all the cells are, they would see hands coming out.
Huh.
That's pretty
That's
nuts.
cool.
That would be pretty
Let's go.
cool.
Set it up.
The motion sensors would go off when it was in an area where nobody was. They were getting motion sensors to go off. So those were the activity he was getting there, but no EVPs.
Okay.
But yeah, this is on our radar for sure.
That has been for 2 years.
Yeah, since we went to Vegas.
Yeah, that big dude Chris that they had on the Jack Osborne show.
Yeah.
When he came on camera, I'm like, that's the guy I talked to.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. You'll never take me alive, copper.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, I think that's everything we got for this
Okay,
episode. Yeah?
so you should totally check out our social medias at evp.pod at Instagram and Facebook. If you've been to the Nevada State Prison and had some experiences you'd like to share with us, you can email us at evp.pod@gmail.com. And after you're done doing that, check out our affiliate link to ghoststop.com, buy some ghost hunting gear, and go ghost hunting.
Yeah, come with us. We'll do some soon.
Yeah, sure.
There should be some soon.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, the shadow knows.
Well, all right, everybody. Go soon. Don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
This is the EVP Podcast.